Hey guys, it's Tiny Tom Logan back with another video for you, and today we're going to be taking a look at USB 3.1. Now, the point 1 is the really important bit, because I know a load of you out there now are probably going, point 1? What are you on about? Now, USB 3 was it was a big step forward really. Over USB 2 it brought us much more speed, and then it did actually in the end start bringing in some extra charging ability for us as well. You've probably seen the driver packages and stuff on your motherboard CDs where you've got like there'll be like a power mode or something that you can enable so that you can charge more power hungry devices, maybe like your mobile phone. Now, we've now coming into the realms of USB 3.1. Now you may also be aware that there is a new kind of reversible connector, which is the C-type connector. It's the new one. And it's the one where you can just turn it around. Whereas me personally, I'm very much of the, if you can't put a USB in the right way round, then when you turn it round, it's generally the right way round. And then if you've still not got it right and you turn it round the third time, it will magically go in like it should have done the first time. But anyway, so we have got the new C-type connector, which is a little oval. But Asus have brought some motherboards out already with the normal type A connector, but with all the bandwidth possibilities and the charging possibilities and all that type of stuff, with the old type A connector that we're used to. And on the boards, the USB 3 is a blue. USB 2 is black, but the 3.1 Asus have brought out with a kind of tealy sort of, maybe even you might possibly see them as being a green colour. I personally think that the difference between the C connector and the A connector is quite good, because obviously the A connector is going to be backwards compatible, so you'll be able to use all of your old USB 3 drives in there, and maybe connect up your your mouse or anything like that you want to. Whereas with the C connector, it's going to be all new devices that you're going to have to buy. At this present moment in time as well, it's not actually available. There aren't any available yet. Essentially what Asus have done, and I've got it just here, is they've made a device for me to be able to test the bandwidth possibilities of 3.1, because it's gone up from 5 gigabits a second up to 10 gigabits a second. Now this device isn't actually going to be a retail device. They've sent it to me so that I can show you the possibilities that are going to be available in the future. Essentially what it is a little 2.5 inch external hard drive, and then inside there's a couple of M-SATA drives in essentially what is a RAID array. There is still the connectors there, there's a C-type connector on the drive, but something that I do need to say about the USB 3.1 stuff, if you are going to go for the mega fast stuff, especially the externals, like this one, then they do need an external power source as well, which is why it's got the second USB cable on there. Now it does come with they sent me a charger to power it into, like what you would your mobile. But I can say that I had no problems running it off of any of the USB ports on the board. At the time of this video, they've got a Z97A board, which is one of their entry-level Z97 boards with USB 3.1. But you'll probably also notice that I reviewed the X99 Sabertooth just recently, and that had some 3.1 slots on it as well, 2 3.1 ports. One thing I will say also, right from the very get-go, is the USB 3.1 will actually run better on the X99 products than it will the Z97 products, because of extra bandwidth that's available there, over the entire board, the CPU, all that type of stuff. So the Z97 stuff may take a hit in scores. We've chosen, because we do have the X99 Sabertooth in, we chose to use the Z97A board because obviously it's a more mainstream board, but most importantly, we've actually tested all of our hard drives on Z97 and Z87. So it gives us the possibility that our results can then slide into our normal storage graphs, which we will show you shortly. And that's quite an important thing as well, because Although it's not technically an internal storage device, if we were going to be testing a USB 3 stick, for example, which we have done in the past, we would treat that with the same benchmarks and the same kind of processes that we would do with a normal solid state hard drive. So that's the way we've done these, which means we've got Crystal Disk Mark, we've got Anvil, we've got Atto, all of those type of things. We run some PC Mark 8, we run some PC Mark 7. You can click the link or wherever the thing will pop up on YouTube when it decides to work to go and look at the full review on the Overclock 3D website with all of our graphs, all of our pictures and all that type of stuff. So that's all there if you want to go and have a good old read. Now on the board there's an As Media, and I've got to get this right, and I have got notes underneath the camera. It's the XHCI 1.1 controller, and you do need to make sure if you get one of these that you make sure that you get that driver, you're on the latest BIOS, but also you need to load up the AI suite as well. And within the AI suite, if you click the top right hand corner, you'll see it brings up the box, and then inside that there's a USB 3.1 mode. If you go into that, there's normal and there's turbo. If you enable turbo, it does make an extreme difference on the performance of the drive. So make sure you get that done. But because there is a normal and a turbo mode, this also enabled us to be able to test it with the turbo on and off, which when you have a look at our graphs, you will see that's what we have done. It did make about 250 megabytes a second difference. I will talk you through the performance, but essentially there was an enormous jump upwards, and we were seeing around 750 up to the 800 megabytes a second read and write on an external storage drive. Now there were days gone by where we thought that 200 megabits a second and then 300 megabits a second on USB 3 was a lot to shout home about, because that's kind of, back then it was kind of solid state drive speeds. But now we're getting on to the point where we are easily seeing the point of having RAIDed solid state drives available as an external device, and it being able to push a lot through. Now another thing with USB 3 is because of the advancements with the bandwidth and stuff, there's actually quite a lot of little things that could be quite cool as well, because USB 3 was the power requirements on it, you know, the ceiling of it was 900 milliamps at 5 volts. With USB 3.1, we'd expect that the PC stuff is probably going to hit the ceiling at about 3 amps at 5 volts, but 3 amps is more than enough to charge any of your big tablets, mobile phones and all that type of thing. But the port itself is actually capable of 5 amps at 20 volts. Now yes, this is just going to be charging, and obviously 20 volts is not going to be capable with a PC power supply because it's only 12 volts. But it just goes to show you that there is a lot available from the slots that people are probably going to explore, because we are in the 3.1 infancy. It's, you know, just taken that brave little step. The motherboard manufacturers like Asus, who have got the first 3.1 boards in stock and available to purchase in the market, and obviously they've gone with that Type A as well, which means it's not going to be a useless slot for 6 months. It is going to be, you know, you are going to be able to use them with all of your normal USB 3 stuff until the 3.1 products do start to come out. But essentially, it's pretty damn good. I mean, when you think about the fact, like I said, we've got 800 megabits a second out of this read and write. Yes, we have got a little, you know, special caddy raided up and all that type of thing, but it's proper mental. And when you think about the fact that the M.2 stuff is out there and available at this present minute in time, I don't think it's going to be too long before people think to themselves, well, hang on a minute, we could chuck a couple of M.2s on one of those little cards, which some of the M.2s available out there are, you know, pushing above 700 megasecond on their own. Get a couple of those in RAID in one of these caddies and you've got yourself an absolutely rapid, easily portable device as well. And where there's no moving parts, it's going to be pretty damn good as well. One thing I will say is I did show you on the AI suite. I know a lot of you are going to be asking me what the monitor is by the side, and these are, I'm using it in this video because I'm just getting used to it and I'm getting ready to change the main rig. But that's one of my own personal monitors that's going to be going on my desk, and it's a 1440 resolution, IPS. And it's the Asus MX27A, and you'll see it's very slim board around the outside. It's actually what I would call, when they're off, is an invisible border, but you do have to look pretty closely to be able to see where the border is even when they're on. And it's 1440, it's IPS, it's just it's 27-inch, it's absolutely sexual for the eyes. I probably will be doing a review, but I did just want to kind of say, because every time they kind of get mentioned, people go nuts and ask about them. So I've put a click link underneath so you can go and see them at Overclockers. So if you want to go and have a look, and I will try my best to get a review done as soon as possible. If worst case scenario, you're going to see them all on the screen anyway, on my desk anyway. But I had to get that before we got to the end, but essentially what we decided to do was give Asus the Innovation Award, because I think it's quite a brave choice to stick with the Type A, but I actually think that's probably going to work out quite well in the meantime, because there aren't any 3.1 Type A products about at the moment, let alone the Type Cs. I personally prefer the Type A because then at least they're stackable. All the motherboards I've seen so far with the Type C on, they've only had one, and then that created kind of a dead zone above it on the I/O at the back. Asus are going to bundle a Type C clip-in adapter should you want to use it anyway. But the obviously with the Type A, which is the square one, the rectangle one that we're all used to, you can stack them like we've seen here. You've seen that we've got 2 on the board. Obviously you've got room above to put 4 in. You can put an Ethernet above. So it just feels, I think it's the kind of sticking with what you know for the time being. But obviously the most important thing is rather than having something that you can't use for anything else, with the Type A you've got the backwards compatibility, and it's just a form factor that they're all kind of used to and aware of at the moment. So it's kind of just, it is staying in that safe zone, but it does just mean that, it, like I said, it is usable and it's not just dead space. So absolutely bonkers performance. You've seen 800 megabits a second read and writes, backwards compatibility. It's obviously it's still in its infancy, but I would have thought once the products start coming out and people start pushing the boundaries, we're probably going to see more controllers popping up in the not too distant future. The drivers are going to get better. I would say that 800 megabits a second is going to be kind of like a baseline, and I don't think it's probably going to be long before we're seeing over a gigabit a second rather than 800 meg. So really quite an interesting time, because there are a lot of form factors coming out around the storage area at the moment. There's actually something that I'm purposely trying to avoid mentioning, but I will be talking to you about it within the next week or so. But for now at least, most important thing is Asus Z97A 3.1 model Innovation Award, but you can also get 3.1 on the X99 Sabertooth, which I have reviewed recently. One of the most important things that I will say about the X99 Sabertooth, and it's kind of the review in a nutshell, is if you didn't want to buy the Rampage 5 because of the red, I would go as far as to say that the X99 Sabertooth is the strongest X99 board that I've tested, bar the Sabertooth, bar the Rampage. The overclocking was ridiculous. It was putting out scores up with the Rampage and actually managed at some points to be able to exceed it. That's probably because of driver changes, on the lifetime of the Rampage. If we retested it again, it may have kind of been there. But it's essentially the Rampage without the red. It's just kind of a different take on it. It's got all the performance there. The overclocking was great. Just a different look, really. And I personally really liked that gunmetal grey and silver approach. And if you weren't too keen on the creamy mushroom sort of colours on it, once you've got your components in there, you really can't see them anyway. But they're the two boards that Asus have got in the market at the moment. Z97A, nice entry-level board. So if you're looking at getting yourself a Z97 board at the moment, it might be daft not to get the one with the USB 3.1 on it. If you're looking at X99, then the Sabertooth is amazing anyway. But I'm not going to waffle on anymore. This has been my first look at USB 3.1, thanks to Asus. Don't forget that if you want to go and look at the graphs and all the other performance bits and bobs, plus all the photos, please click one of the links to go to the OC3D website. But for now at least, this is Tiny Tom Logan with another video for you, feeling like he's talking really siggy sig fast, out. Ding! I wonder if anyone will get the Spice Girls reference. Am I too old?